we help teams to find the right metrics as well as to implement them right and to use them in a good way and in a better way than teams expected them.
Yeah, so hello everybody and welcome. We are pleased to be here and may share our experience about the fear of Agile Metrics. And we hope it will help you as well. So that are Susanne Jung, Tim Müller, and me. So Susanne, Tim, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Susanne. I'm working for the Deutsche Telekom for 16 years already, but since 4 years I'm working as an Agile coach and Scrum Master. And we three share a hobby, which is metrics and helping other people to use metrics. And yeah, I'm very pleased that we could welcome you here. And yeah, we're looking forward to a nice discussion and other insights. Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Susanne. My name is Tim. I'm also Agile coach at Deutsche Telekom. I started working for Telekom 2 years ago. Prior to that, I've been working for 10 years in the renewables. Also there, helping teams growing, developing in different roles, working as servant leader, as Agile coach, Scrum Master, and currently as Agile coach at Deutsche Telekom. So yeah, happy to see you here in the session, and feel free also to connect on LinkedIn if you like. Alex.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. So, and I'm Alex or Alexander. I'm also like Tim at Deutsche Telekom since I think 2 years ago. My agile way of working started 2015 with a role as a Scrum Master, and since then I had different roles like a release train engineer, like a safe program consultant, and now I'm also an agile coach. And yeah, Susanne told it a few minutes ago. We have the same hobby. It's like the using of metrics and to help others to use metrics too. So our presentation is split it in 3 chapters. Let's say the first one, I will show you how we in Deutsche Telekom and in our Measure and Grow team how we interpret the meaning of agility. What is agility? How can we deal with that? And I will show you what is a metric and what is the difference between metrics and KPIs. Afterwards, Tim will tell us something about the agile values and the agile culture, and how this will be handle the way of agile of work with agile metrics. And last but not least, Susanne will show us what we did in the Deutsche Telekom so far, and to get a better acceptance for the use of metrics, and what was our experience there. Okay, first of all, we ask ourselves the question, what is agility and how does it work? And the most of you knows the phrases like, yes, it's responding to fast and complex changes, or something like it's a fast delivery of customer value. But we showed another big point, or saw another big point, that was the relentless improvement. And we want to get a deeper look to the relentless improvement. So for that, we used this picture here. It's like it's similar to the House of Lean. Maybe someone of you knows it. The House of Lean is also a part in the SAFe framework. And we put the relentless improvement as the value in the roof of this house. The roof will be supported by 3 pillars. The first pillar is the transparency pillar, and the transparency pillar is made for the open communication and knowledge sharing, is for disclose the progress and the impediments. And it's a very important pillar you need to support the relentless improvement. The second pillar is the inspection pillar. And the inspection pillar is based on the transparency. For the inspection, you need the transparency. You need to have information about how was the process, how was the working results, to get an inspection to show what was good, what was bad, and what can we do next, or what can we do different in the next time to get better. It's also a really important pillar for the relentless improvement. And the last one, I think you can, you know it, it's the adaptation pillar. The adaptation pillar is also based on the inspect pillar. So the hypothesis you get from the inspection will be adapted. So you will test if the change you think that will make you better or improve you for the next time. You test it in the adaptation. And you look if this really works, or if it's not so good, and you have to change it in another way. And therefore, you need also for the adaptation the transparency to see was the way we go now the right way, or is it the wrong way. These 3 pillars are based on the basement of the house, and the basement of the house are the 5 agile values. Most of you think I know the agile values, so this is the basement of the house, and Tim will tell us something about the agile values in a few minutes. Here we can see the transparency pillar, and now I think it's clear the transparency is a really important part in the Agile house, and Agile metrics are a really important point for the transparency. Of course, you can use gut feelings or something like that also for the transparency and for inspect and adapt, but it's only one small thing for transparency. The Agile metrics is another big thing for the transparency. If we get this picture here, we ask ourselves the question, but what exactly is a metric? The exact wording for a metric is a procedure for measuring quantifiable units. Sounds hard, but it isn't. A metric is more or less nothing else than methodic to measure everything you can measure. Think about you have a swimming pool, and you want to know the depth of the water. The depth of the water you can measure, and the metric will be take once a day a measuring stick and look how deep is the water. So now you put the stick, you read it's 1 meter deep maybe, and how helps this information? If you have this one point, this one data point with 1 meter deep, I think it don't helps really. But if you connect the metric with another metric, or if you connect the metric with other measurements of the same metric, it will be an interesting point. So maybe you measure the water depth once a day, and you have 2 days ago 1 meter 20, yesterday 1 meter 10, today 1 meter. You know you lose 10 centimeters of water each day. Maybe it's a good idea to fill up the water every second day before the pool is empty in 2 weeks. Another aspect is if you take another metric to compare with, maybe the body size of you or something. So my body size is 1.80 m, and the water deep is 1 meter. Now I know I can stand in, I can go into the water and without losing my life. If I don't play stupid, I think. But I shouldn't jump into the water with my head first. That could hurt me. That's not a good idea. What is now the difference between metrics and KPIs? KPIs are often a combination of some or more metrics. And next thing is the KPI follows a goal value or an indicator index. And this indicator index or this goal value helps that the KPI is interpretable by other persons outside of the team. So if there is a value, you can show if the value is higher or lower than the indicator value, and that gives you the possibility to interpret that as good or bad. A metric is reality data without any changes, and these reality data don't follow an indicator value, and so it's only possible for team insiders to interpret these values, these metrics. And that's the hardest difference between metric and KPI. Metrics are data which are interpreted by internal members of the team. KPIs are indicators that can be interpreted by outsides of the team. So, and that's the hardest difference between these two things. Yeah, with this understanding, we started our journey to speak with teams at Agile at the Deutsche Telekom to use metrics as a base for transparency and relentless improvement. But with this start, we looked a little bit confused as the teams react different as we expected. So we asked the teams, apply or application of Agile Metrics, and we get answers like, you just want to compare us. We don't want to be assessed. That's too much effort, too less value, or something like to punish low performance. And that was what that was. These are answers we don't expect it, because for us, metrics are a really good thing for teams to get a transparency about their work and their process and things what went good and what went bad, and how can we inspect and adapt the next iteration. So we want to look a little bit deeper in this point and have some sessions with the team members and ask them something. And so we get the information that there is a hidden backstage. These sentences we hear here was, the communication directly to us, but it's not the reason why the people in the team don't want to use metrics. And if we get a look on this hidden backstage, the real reason was something like, I'm afraid to be compared with others, or metrics will make me as person transparent, and metrics make me vulnerable. And if we saw this, reasons why people don't want to use Agile Metrics, we know there is a fear about Agile Metrics, and we have to deal with that fear, and we have to show how can we decrease this fear so that people are able to use Agile Metrics. And now if we get back to our house of Agile, we see with this information, our transparency pillar is broken. Yeah, of course, there is a small transparency left. It's a gut feeling or something, or you know the team, you know what they do. But the transparency pillar is broken because there's a lack of communication, holding back progress and impediments and something like that. And so in this case, it's not or only partly possible to inspect and adapt, and therefore only partly possible to relentless improve. Yeah, and now Tim will go on with the agile values and what they, how deal with that.
All right, thank you, Alex. Yeah, we asked ourselves the questions how to create transparency. So knowing all that, what Alex just presented, we chose a model from DC and Ryan, which is about basic psychological needs. So the model describes 3 basic psychological needs, which is autonomy, competence, and relationship. So that means people want to decide for themselves, and they also want to feel effectively with their decision. And at the same time, they want to feel connected to each other. So giving you an example, just imagine you want to go on vacation with your family. So everyone in your family has probably some ideas where to go. Some might want to go skiing in the mountains, others want to go to the beach and do some kind of summer swimming holidays. So everyone comes with their own ideas and they want to decide where to go. On the other hand, they also want to feel effectively with their decision. So everyone wants to feel that their decision was the right one, so the team is following them. And at the same time, they want to stay connected with everyone in the family, right? So if you think about these 3 factors, there's quite a potential for a conflict already in this communication. And the idea is to look behind it and think about what is behind going skiing or going to the beach. Maybe we all have the need of just relaxing or just getting some time to relax, or maybe want to do some activity holiday. So we could think about what is the underlying needs and search for commonalities in this. So the if you translate that to teams in the business context, it's basically committing on a common goal. So you think about what is the actual goal which you all can commit to, and which the team can actually focus on. And to create this common understanding of a goal, you need to talk openly with a high level of respect to each other. So talking on an eye level, having the courage also to make your point, even knowing that others might have other points, probably also contradicting to your own point. And the thing is, if you're able in your team to talk openly and really go into that conflict with the idea of listening to each other and understanding the other needs or the needs of the other team members, then you create an environment of trust and safety. So the team feels safe. Everyone in the team feels safe to speak openly. They know that they can actually talk about what they are thinking about and what they like and dislike, and this creates an environment of trust and safety. And at the same time, it also provides meaning and self-determination in the team. So the team is able to take a decision and as a team commit on a common goal and focus on that. So if we go from this team level to an organizational level, the question we ask ourselves was, how can we do this on an organizational level? What do we need to do there? And we thought about how this conflicts with the cultural assumptions we see. And I brought today 3 basic assumptions which I would like to discuss with you. The first one is basically the solution doesn't care how the problem arose. So if you think about it, how often do you think about the problem? You think about, okay, what is the problem? And it's also okay to think about the problem, because maybe you want to find out what's the root cause of your problem. So you could use the 5 why method, for example, to get the root causes. But if you stick on this problem and if you focus on the problem, you give the problem a lot of room, so it takes, every time you talk about it, it takes more and more room in the people's brains. So you might want to just change the perspective towards the solution. Because if you focus on the solution, you open up your dimension again. You can have many different solutions for the same problem. And one thing is, if you found a solution, let's say you work on a product for a customer or anything, and you think, okay, this feature might want to be a good solution also for our customer, then your solution is in the first place only an hypothesis, right? You don't know if your solution or the solution you have in mind is actually also solving the customer's problem. And this leads to the second assumption that, if you go one slide, thanks. So the second assumption was, we need to take a different perspective on mistakes. So quite often we think about mistakes are something bad. If you do a mistake, probably there is some sanctioning behind it or punishment, or mistakes are treated as something bad in your organization. And how about changing this perspective as a chance to learn? Saying, okay, if we did a mistake, we could also look at it as just a chance to learn, because if we don't know if our solution is actually a solution for our customer or not, we need to do an experiment. We need to build probably a minimal viable product, so something small, to find out whether our solution we had in mind is actually solving the customer's problem. And this experiment could also turn out to be wrong. So the feedback from your customer could also be, well, thanks for building that feature, but we didn't ask for it. That's not what we want to have. We want to have something completely different. And this feedback is completely valuable for you as a team, because suddenly you know what is actually something your customer desires. And this, if you treat mistakes as something bad, you cannot do this learning curve of iterative and incremental learning with your product development. And the third dimension we looked at was the agile leadership. So the agile leadership needs to put the people at the center. So basically creating a frame where people are allowed to do mistakes, where people are allowed to experiment, people are allowed to basically find out what the customer needs in the end. And by putting the people at the center, you need to put the human at the center. You need to be able to talk to them about their needs, about their emotions, and make sure you understand each other. And this you have as well in your team, as also in terms of understanding your customer. So having these 3 perspective changes in mind, we thought about, okay, how can we go from this team level to an organizational level, and how can we actually change this in an organization? Because in the end, the organization is just a number of people working together. So it returns that basically the one to be changed is ourselves. We have the chance to work on ourselves. So every one of us has the chance to put on the shoes of an agile leader and create that frame in your own environment. You could dare to make mistakes, to be learning quickly. You could dare to talk openly and with courage and respect to your teammates about conflicts. So basically the perspectives we mentioned and the communication starts with ourselves. And this is quite a lot of theory we worked through, and how we did this in practice in Telekom. This will be shown by Susanne now.
Yeah. After Alex's journey of the Agile basics, and he put us in a nutshell what it includes, Tim gave us the insights and the importance of the value of trust for personal safety within our companies and within our surrounding. So what now I would like to take you with is how we actually gave support direct to the teams that were frightened of the work with metrics or data-driven. And as we also work agile, we did our first iteration and thought it would be helpful and would overcome the resistance of using metrics by explaining how to handle with tools and application security. We would like to provide application security. So the so-called handcraft was our first trial to overcome fear and to overcome the distance to data-driven working. And what we have done was we help teams to find the right metrics as well as to implement them right and to use them in a good way and in a better way than teams expected them. We had a lot of face-to-face sessions talking about the fears and talking about how to find a metric which is suitable for any teams or for a special team. So what you see on the screen is another thing we have done, which was creating a pattern how to find and how to work with metrics. And we also did a lot of content relating to metrics, explaining the metric itself and how to use it. And also we provided a special set of metrics for using within the teams, which could be very helpful so that the safety was there using the right ones. As well as we were having some sessions on the special usage of the metric session. But despite everything we did in our first iteration, we couldn't overcome the resistance and we couldn't beat the fear as well. So we went on having the second iteration, and what we were trying to overcome was the fear. We were relating it to a management attention and management. So we try to put metrics in a different context, I'm sorry, and in a different setting. So we firstly use the agile values, having workshops and discussing with the teams how they would like to work together and how they would like to live the values together, and ask them to assess and to map each agile value on a scale from 1 to 2, as you see on the screen, and ask them how to live with these values and what everybody is expecting when talking about respect. So what happened in the value spider, as you see here, the team was asked on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your value and your number for the value openness? And in that case, the answer was we have a 2. So now we had the possibility to ask the right questions, which was, what do you need to improve the value of 2 into a 3? And what do you need as a team to improve? And we had, of course, a hint where the fear and where the resistance was coming from. So we were able to ask questions, and secondly, we were also able to ask the team which could be the action that they needed to improve by themselves. So we could ask, what do you need to improve from a 2 to a 3? And the teams, of course, they could find some actions, and they could vote on the actions they would like to take. So what was different to KPIs, as Alex mentioned? First, the team was assessing themselves, not by anyone else. They were assessing their status by their own. So they evaluated something, even what managers don't care about, the values. Florian is having fun. Yeah, sorry to say that. Generally, it's not management attention how nice people work together. So we really put this in a different context using the values. Third, they identified the subjects to improve themselves, as well as the action taken to become better by themselves. It was not overwhelmed something, they could decide on it. So we had trust and connection by talking and by creating a feeling of self-efficiency to identify actions that could be taken to improve. And when the result of the taken action was really improving the value, then the team felt its competency. But still, some teams improved, and in some the resistance was obvious because we had inconsistent values, like the openness was 6 and the transparency was a low level. So we still were not at the end of our story, and we did the third iteration, and this was enhancing trust and safety by giving the fear of metrics a room to talk about, and a room to improve as well. And we worked with the nonviolent communication. I think the session of Corinna and Caroline is quite interesting for us as well. If you would like to go further, then I think Caroline is having the right. There she is. Is the right one. So we had in mind what Rosenberg said, that the needs is our main driver of human action, and that the needs are always positive for everybody, and they are the same for everybody. So despite all nations, culture, something, we all have the needs in common we share. Yeah, we try to balance the needs on a team level. So while talking about the needs, and the result was more or less a clear, esteemed communication at eye level. We're still working on that. So, but we try to have a focus on a good nonviolent communication that is based on needs. Yeah. Our conclusion is that human beings require trust and safety for sure, as well as a purpose to develop, and therefore a surrounding with psychology safety is quite important. You may know Amy Edmondson. She has a brilliant book on this topic, and she describes the psychology safety by having a surrounding full of trust, and where no action is sanctuated by something. So in a safe area, you can really have all questions. You can ask every question. You can work and have, you can work having mistakes, and failure is always meaningful, working on failures and on mistakes, as well as you can always ask for a helping hand, and without taking personal risks. So, of course, we need to change. We need the change in our culture of failure, in our interpersonal intercourse, as well as the management culture, of course. And now I would love to have a question, and the question for you guys yourself. Ask yourself, please, are you allowed, and are you allowing others to express any concerns? Ask all the questions you have. Ask for help, and make all the mistakes without the fear of disadvantages, sanctions, or negative interpersonal assessments. It's where we can work on, we think, and it's where we can work on an individual level as well. But still, we are not finished yet. We are not in the environment we need, and we still have a long way to go. But anyway, our positive experience in a nutshell, thank you, was the 5 points you see on the screen. So the application security and the tool security was a big step on our journey, as well as the working with the values and working with the needs, and discussing topics that are not discussed in business before, because we are both. We are human with emotions, as well as we are human with our rational mind, and the other part of us is not staying at home while going to work. The communication at the eye level was another point which is very helpful, and putting people in the center, not the numbers, the people, as one thing we have to learn and we should focus on. And yeah, we ask you to improve and develop incrementally too, and additionally having fun. Thank you.